No, not the GOAT album. When did the one with him and this big animal come out?
Like 90.
No, Walking
90?
Walking with the Panther came out in 89.
Was it 89?
with this big animal.
Okay.
No, so it ain't the one that I'm talking about then.
Shout out to Nas. Let's talk Nasir. Nasir was on an interview with Billboard, and he's basically pushing for older rappers to continue to rap and make music from his era, just like he's doing with Hit Boy. They had a sit down interview with him, and he said, basically, release your records. He said they're working hard on them expletives. I want to hear how people feel. I want to hear their art. He also says, I don't want to hear trends. I want to hear the art. So I didn't like the trends part. Kind of makes you sound get off my lawn-ish, but I'm not mad at him wanting to hear music from older MCs that want to put it out and just forget about the sales and the streaming and just put the art out. Because Ed Lover said that on Math Hoffa's show. He said he would love to hear another project from Wu-Tang, another project from Run DMC. Didn't care about the sales. It's more about hearing where the legends are.
I can't go that far.
That's what I was going to ask y'all. What do y'all think about that? Because it's frowned upon in hip-hop, I think.
I don't think it's frowned upon.
Everybody's shelf life isn't still fresh, so to speak.
Okay.
And we've talked about Wu-Tang as a whole, as a collective, as as the group that they are.
Mm-hmm.
As a nation.
There we go. They're for the kids.
Yep.
Definitely.
And I think we've talked about this, they've got 3 of them.
3.
As a collective. Now, solo wise,
They got a lot.
I'm with that. But I mean, some people got to know when it's run its course. And I think some of these artists and groups are in that category.
That is run its course?
It's run its course. I mean, you got in, you did what you were supposed to do, and now just tour off of that stuff.
What about speaking to, I think he's speaking to the freedom of them if they want to put records out, not worrying about how it's going to be received.
You should,
if it's
though.
going to stream.
You should.
Because to your point, you said they've had their moment, they've maxed it out, right? They've done what they've been to the pinnacle, they've been to the mountaintop. Some people have, right?
Nas has hit his second win.
He had, but so what you're saying is everybody doesn't necessarily have.
Everybody
we don't ever talk about Nas's sales or what he's streaming. We talk about the actual artistic merit of what he's put out.
The final product every single time.
This is like Big Daddy Kane. In my personal opinion, he doesn't have to do anything else. You know, him and Jay-Z are around the same age.
Doesn't even seem like it.
Don't seem like it because they came out in different eras. But they are different type of artists.
Yep.
He was an artist for his time, and he can still make his money and eat off of what he was then versus trying to force himself to do something when he's just not there or prepared mentally or even have the want to do it. You know what I'm saying? Rather than just doing it because somebody wants you to.
Yeah, I don't think.
What you think, Lo?
I don't think anybody should force it. That's the main thing. You know, like if you have it in you and you really want to put something out, then yeah, sure, do it. But some people are gonna love Wu-Tang no matter what they put out.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? So for those people, that's cool. But for I guess maybe for us that we're always looking for just high quality product. It doesn't necessarily. Sure, we have our favorite artists, but we care more about the product being good than. I don't want to speak for everybody. I don't want to speak for everybody, but I care personally more about the product being good.
No, you preaching.
I don't care if it's my neighbor who just made something fire or if it's Inspect the Deck. Like, if it's fire, it's fire. I don't need somebody who has, made stuff and then they haven't made stuff to force something to try to be relevant to that matter.
Or you're just trying to get a check.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, and I understand that it seems like Nas is saying, like, just do it because you really want to do it.
Just do it.
And that's fine.
But Nas doesn't have to rap to eat like some of these people.
Maybe.
Like, there's more of a risk that some of these artists would take by putting out material, and maybe if their heart's not in it, nobody cares, and then they can't tour off it, and they just wasted some time.
Right. So from that aspect, for sure. But I agree with his sentiment in the sense of, like, if you're feeling like, don't be afraid to.
That part.
Like, I agree with that part. But, I don't want to hear somebody who's not interested in rapping just try to capitalize off their name again.
You see, I put in Discord that LL album is coming out.
Oh,
so
yeah,
it's coming out.
Which one?
The one
when we were
does
talking about LL? Yeah, it's coming out. So he actually has a single that he's working on. And when he was with Sway, there's a freestyle that's floating around.
This is the one that he said that he stopped doing? No, that was a Dre one. That was a Dre one.
Okay, yeah. Never mind. So this was the one that, it was an idea and then it went away. Then it was an idea. Now it's a real thing. There's a freestyle that he's been doing. He did it at Rock the Bells. It's a part of the single, I believe, that he's going to put out. And LL is a person that does not need the bread coming off this music. He's definitely not rapping for a check. So it sounds like
He's solidified.
He would fall in the category to Lone's point about somebody that's just passionate and wants to pop back out again. Now,
I'm interested to hear how that turns out, though.
I actually want to hear it as well.
Me too.
I actually want to hear it as well.
Because, let's just be real. A lot of older artists have a hard time making music that transcends different eras.
That's what he said. He said that with Sway. He said he's paid close attention to that, the evolution of it. And he says he doesn't want to be the guy that's just, and I'm paraphrasing here, but that's just coming out saying I'm the king and this is how we used to do it. He wants to make dope records.
LL Cool J could get right back in his rap ballad bag.
Facts.
Yeah.
And do numbers.
And be just fine.
And he could actually use the same producers that he was using when he was doing it back then.
Yep.
And it would probably still work.
I think it would carry over.
I hate rap ballads.
Well, his ballads was a little
me.
different though. I'm talking like the joints he did with like
I know what you mean.
Boys to Men.
Yeah,
That was fire.
You stalking
what
that
you
young lady?
Yeah, that's still a good song.
Yeah.
I'm more so talking about Eminem's rap ballads.
Yeah.
No.
Those are like power ballads.
That's true. Power ballad.
I feel like that should have been on a CD in the mail or something like that.
Those should have been on Over the Top.
Like Meatloaf should be singing in the background.
Yeah. Those were Sylvester Stallone movie records.
Yeah, I need somebody jogging.
Top
to
Gun
that.
even.
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't need power ballads, man.
Yeah,
I don't like power ballads that are rock power ballads.
Right.
So we
I
definitely don't need an
need
Eminem
a-
power ballad.
Oh, man.
I can't even see. Matter of fact, now I think about it, I don't want to see Rocky jogging to no Eminem power ballad. No, I'm cool on
And that
that.
new Eminem song where he's featured on somebody else's track is actually pretty solid.
I was gonna go there in a minute, but yeah.
Boy's still nice now.
No,
We ain't never said he wasn't.
Yeah, he's still
that's
nice.
the thing. We never said he was.
But Jay Moore, jump in on this concept of the.
It's okay.
Well, I just want the art. Like, there's probably maybe 3 or 4 years ago. I know it was when during the course of us doing this show, where 𝐻𝐻𝐿 put out Soul on Ice 2.
Yes.
And then not too long, either before or after that, I remember Smith and Wesson. They put out a record that I
remember
liked.
that. Yep.
And so it's a
Terry
situation
Noise
to
album.
where artists have been doing this. Like, that's why I always get, I don't want to say mad, but I feel some type of way. It was like, yo, why don't, we need them artists back. It's like they are out. They still make music, but you just don't check for it because you can't hear it on the radio and you don't know what to check for because there's no such thing as Rap City in the Basement anymore.
What if I was to argue that, first of all, your examples are correct.
Goody
We
Mob
talk-
dropped an album in 2021.
Sure did.
Yeah.
Good point,
It
Lone.
wasn't bad.
Wasn't bad,
But
wasn't great.
what soured Goody Mob were the albums, World Party, absolute trash. And then CeeLo went on to do his solo stuff, which was really good.
Fire.
Then he teamed up with Danger Mouse and they created Gnarls Barkley.
Fire.
That was a good run. And then Goody Mob were still releasing albums at that time.
They
though.
put out an album called One Monkey Don't Stop.
They
Us,
sure
which
did.
I didn't need
I
that
know
one.
somebody. There was somebody at my job that was talking about, man, that album was underrated. I was like,
No, it was not.
I don't think so.
Nah.
I don't honest. Well, never mind. I'm not even. gonna go
Anyways.
there.
Let me ask.
But my thing is like, if I, not that they would take my advice, they need to listen to me at all. But LL talked about, I don't want to chase trends,
Right.
And I think that was something that people should take to heart. If you're for artists from a previous generation, is like you got to look at it like this, man. Make records for the people who loved you initially. 𝐻𝐻𝐿 wasn't trying to get no new friends, new
Right.
fans. With Soul on Ice 2, he made records for me when I remember listening to Soul on Ice, the first one, in my dorm room, in the 90s. Like, he was trying to satisfy,
Absolutely.
like make things to impress your original fans.
target
Because you're
audience.
never going to get on commercial radio, with you being you. It sounds crazy.
Yeah.
Same thing with Wu-Tang. I don't know what they're going for. Ghostface still makes music for people who loved Iron Man.
Exactly.
And that's why I feel like it works.
I'm confused if I get Ghost and Ray on trap beats.
with the Migos.
No, you don't want to do that.
I don't want as a fan.
unless it's a parody track.
Yeah, like
You know what I'm
I
saying?
don't
It
know.
makes sense for them.
I don't know if I need that or if I want that. Like, I'm not saying it's going to tarnish their legacy, but it's like it was unnecessary. I don't need that.
Well, there's certain artists.
Y'all could have kept that, is what I'm saying. Y'all could have kept that.
There's certain artists who have actually laid the blueprint for the type of artist you should pretty much grow into.
Okay.
Jay-Z being one of those. Nas, Fonte. Fonte makes grown man hip hop now. You know what I'm saying? If
Kind
it,
of always has. Really.
You
Kinda
can make,
always
he's
has.
never made
But-
really trendy
but
stuff.
it speaks to his fan base though.
I would say Big Boy as well. He's evolved. Big Boys Evolve.
Killer Mike.
Killer Mike.
These are people that know how to hone into their core fan base and continue to still do top-notch music and still pull in some more fans.
Yep.
No, and
By staying true to themselves.
that's the thing with these Nas records. He's made these records for those of us who listened to Illmatic in '94, then were very critical of it was written, but then came back and was like, all right, okay. And then we're super excited when Nas's Light came out.
Yeah.
And then we had the same level of criticism back then when he was chasing a trend, when he did the song You Won't See Me Tonight with Aaliyah, which we hated.
Or the Nostradamus single.
Oh
Yeah,
my
so,
God.
Because when you're at that part of your career, it makes sense for you to chase the trends. But at this point, like, there's not one single program director in this country who's like, I wonder what Nas is doing. Let me check out, because they don't care.
Jay Moore, let me play devil's advocate to what you said about there are artists out here that are doing it. The reason I was going to pose this question is, what about the more top tier artists that aren't doing it? When I say top tier, I'm talking about the Rakim, Kane. You don't see those guys popping out a lot, making records again. Now, Smith and Wesson, them, Raz-Kaz, I get it, but I'm talking about the cream of the crop guys from the 80s.
There was a point in the game when they were very much at the top, and we've talked about how there are certain artists that can eat super well just based off that nostalgia wave.
True.
Okay, and
Tribe did it.
yeah. So what I'm saying with Big Daddy Kane, KRS
is another
big, Rakim. They could never record another song, but if they have that passion to record more music,
I'd be here for it.
They should go ahead and do it, but my whole thing is like, I don't want to hear you try to chase whatever's trendy. I want you to do what you did to make us love you initially. I understand there's an evolution of things, and maybe you have different things
You can follow the evolution of your style.
Yeah.
Talk to him.
But for you to be like, okay, who produced these Sexy Red records? Let me go ahead and I want to find out who produced Pound Town, and then I want to hear Rakim rhyming over production from the person who
But at the
produced
same
Pound
time,
Town.
but if he goes out and he works with Black Milk and he works with Odyssey and he works with Knots,
That's different. They come from that tradition.
You know what I mean?
They
It's
come
gonna,
from
and
that
it's going to
tradition.
sound good.
Agreed. Because I always look at the operating system concept when you get an update or an upgrade on something. There's ways that you can do that and apply it to your sound, still be you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You don't have to lose yourself. You can still update your sound.
I think
as producers, we do that.
I think that is what's missing in a lot of that era.
Mm-hmm.
In the artists that don't succeed very well when they try stuff again, it's not that they don't follow trends, it's that they don't follow like the trends within their own genre. In their subgenre, their niche genre. What are the boom bap dudes doing now?
Right.
Work with those people. Work with the hot producers that are like really hot in that particular small niche, and I think then they could do well. That's what Nas did with Hit Boy.
Agreed.
Yeah. Because one of the worst times people trying to step out and try to be, I was just the king of this, and you should respect, because Run DMC did put out an album in the 2000s called Crown Royal, and it's absolutely horrible.
Wait a minute now. That had no. You're right. Never mind.
I was about to say, what do you mean? Wait,
You're right. Never mind. You know what? I got.
If you listen,
I was thinking of something else.
DMC is not even really on the album.
You're right. I was thinking of something else, but I caught myself.
Run and all these alternative rockers at the time, and they had a song called Queen's
I'm
Day
cool.
that was kind of decent, but it was just and that song Let's Stay Together with Jagged Edge, it was all cringeworthy, the whole project.
Yeah. They were just they made a good song with Jagged Edge and decided they wanted to try it again, and it just didn't work.
That came after.
Did it?
Yep.
I'm tripping because
I think that came after.
Oh wow.
That's how the initial relationship started from that track they did on Crown Royal. But it's just what like I said, when I remember sitting listening. I somehow I was in radio, so I didn't buy a lot of stuff at that time. I would get promos, and I remember I was like, "Oh, new Run DMC album," and I was like,
disgusted.
I was
Disgusted.
I was disgusted by the 𝐀𝐁𝐎𝐿 album GOAT. Disgusted.
I almost said again that one had, and then I was like, I can't remember
disgusted.
records on
what
that.
was on that record?
There had to be a lead
That's
single.
a song with a video where he's got like a panther or something, right?
Stop.
Absolutely not.
No, don't do that. Don't do
I
that.
hate him, man.
Man, there was a video with LL Cool J and he's walking around with like a tiger or something.
Yeah, I mean the name of
Walking
the
with the-
album,
yeah, that was
album was
probably-
Walking with a Panther.
Yeah, but that wasn't.
Oh,
that was
well,
nowhere
yeah.
near to go.
But that was the I'm That Type of Guy video.
Yeah.
Hold on, when did this come out? Because my
Like
LL
98,
The GOAT was like
97, 98.
closer to 2000.
It came out after Phenomenon, wasn't
No,
it?
no, not the Goat album. When did the one with him and this big animal come out?
Like 90
No, Walking
90?
Walking with the Panther came out in 89.
Was it
Him
89?
with this big animal.
okay.
No, so it ain't the one that I'm talking about then.
I'm that type of guy video is when he had the Panther in the video.
Is that a newer, like in the late 90s?
That was the
Nah.
No.
Maybe you're talking about when he turned into the shark.
No,
My
I
hat-
was walking around, man.
When he turned into the
This is like one of the memories that is definitely
It's a
cemented in
core
my head.
memory.
It's like in there, and I can't relate it to
Walking
anything
with
because
the
it doesn't
Panther
make any sense at all.
is 89, my brother. Yeah,
No.
That's the only time I remember.
I wasn't
seeing
watching
him.
LL Cool J videos in 1989.
Go came out in 2000.
sir.
Yeah, so
I had to have been off that album.
10 had heat because that's got a.
no 10. I had 10. I
It
could
was
deal
like a
with.
CGI tiger or something. I don't know. Maybe it was.
Go wasn't it?
I don't know.
Like honestly,
Imagine that was a single featuring LaShawn, Lone Nose LaShawn.
I went to school with a LaShawn.
we all did.
How you say that, Terry?
Forget about it.
There it is. DMX and Method Man. That was a single. You and Me featuring Kelly Price.
Who cares? What else?
I'll be honest. That was probably LL's worst record after 14 shots.
Bad. It's
All
bad.
right, well, all right, man. So much.
And he named it
Yes.
Goat.
Yeah. That was a far shot. So be careful with expired time. When his time it wasn't expired, but yeah, it still kind of
It's
fits.
just he missed.
Yeah, it was
Sometimes
a
you should-
big
It
miss.
happens.
It was.
I'm talking about missed
You know,
long.
sometimes your rhythm's just not in it.
Yeah.
Hey,
You know.
all right.